We've heard a little bit about how our young people are inspired. Oh, I haven't got my clicker. Can I have my clicker? Thank you. We've heard about how young people are inspired by some of the wonder, thank you, that they read in the Bible. And a little bit later on, after this, the children are going to give us some more glimpses of wonder with a video. But in the next few minutes, I'm not going to speak for too long, but we're going to dig a little bit more into what wonder means for us. And this is the message that I want to bring this morning. This Christmas, give Jesus your wonder. Give Jesus your wonder. Don't let your focus be on the wonder of the presents and the parties and the amazing food and those glorious pajama days between Christmas and New Year. Let your wonder focus on Jesus. Let Jesus be the focus. But I've got a question for you all first. What fills you with wonder? What is it that fills you with wonder? I looked up the word wonder, searched it up online, and the dictionary describes wonder as a feeling of amazement, admiration caused by something beautiful, caused by something remarkable or unfamiliar. And Nathan used one of the words like amazement. It's about awe, astonishment, fascination. But I thought for kind of Sunday lunchtime, that might be just a step too far for us. So I want to share my favorite meaning of the word wonder, and it's the word wow. Oh, are we on? It's the word wow. There we go. Wonder is wow. So I want to ask you, what is it that makes you go wow? What's one of the things that kind of makes you catch your breath because it's so amazing? Maybe some things are going through your minds. Maybe it's things that you see or food or activities or people make you go, wow. Maybe it's a breathtaking view, or maybe it's a delicious cake. That's me. Well, here are a few things that make me go, wow. This was at the first and only time that I've seen the Northern Lights. And these were from a hill in Colville. Can you believe that? In October last year, the Northern Lights. That's just my really terrible iPhone, but we could see them with the naked eye just dancing around the sky. Wow, it was amazing. And here's another one. This was a picture of a sunset. This was on a beach in Northumberland. I mean, I could have many different photos like this, but there's something about the sky. And when the sun sets and the colour of the sky, just wow. And then another thing that makes me go, wow, this is a bit weird. Sorry. Whenever I go to a sports event and I see the pitch for the first time, ever since I was a child, it's made me go, wow. This was Old Trafford Cricket Stadium in the summer. And I guess it's something about hope and expectation and the possibility of something amazing happening. But I just love that moment when I climb up the steps and you see the pitch in front of you. This one, actually, this is something that made Nathan go, wow. He has given permission for this, just in case he's going very red right now. This was his bedroom when he was 3 years old. We decorated his bedroom into a Formula One themed bedroom. You can't see all the detail there, but there was loads of detail. There was like tape on the floor that's like a racetrack and around the side of the room. And take a look at this video. You can see his reaction.
Hey, Tom.
Oh.
Have some water.
He's 3.
Wow. Wow.
Isn't that cute? He's literally dying right now. But yeah, wow, that moment of wow, when something is just so incredible. And because it's Christmas, I want to ask you, you've recovered now, you're all good now. I want to ask you, what is it about Christmas? We can move that video here. Yeah, there we go. I want to ask that question. What is it at Christmas that makes you go, wow? Perhaps it's the sight of a beautiful Christmas tree. Anyone like beautiful Christmas tree? Maybe it's seeing some crazy Christmas lights in your street. Just sometimes houses make you go, wow. Maybe, James, it's a tray of Christmas cheese. Does that make you go, wow? Or that first taste of pigs in blankets just make you go, wow. Or maybe, I'm guessing this is for quite a few of you, maybe it's the presents under the tree. Does the sight of the presents make you go, wow? Well, I want to test out this theory that presents make people go, wow. And I've asked 3 people to help me. So I'm taking my life in my hands here. I've asked Ivan, I've got Stu, and I've also got Beth. So come and stand here. Beth, you can go in the middle, and Stu, come this side. I wanted to see if presents make you go, wow, or what? Like, what? Wow or what? So I'm going to give you all a present. You're going to open it, and we're going to see if that present makes you go, wow, or what? What are we thinking? So, Stu, what are we thinking? Do you think this is going to make Stu go, wow, or what? What do we think? Wow. Okay, here we go. This is for you. I'm going to get you a microphone just to get your reaction. So, go for it. You can open it. What's in there?
Socks.
Just have a little bit of a smell. They've been worn in Paris. They've been worn to play cricket. You're not bothered? Okay. Well, what do we think Beth's going to get? Is it going to be a wow present, or is it going to be a what present? What do we think? Wow? What? Okay. A bit nervous about this. That is for you. That is for you. What is it?
Wow, it's bubble tea, and I love bubble tea. We're popping over. Oh my gosh, this is 10 out of 10. Wow.
Wow, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I'm just going to give myself a round of applause for that one. Okay. What do we think? Last present for Ivan. Is this going to be a wow or a what? It's quite heavy. There you go. That is just for you, Ivan. Is that a wow or a what? What? And what is it? Say that again. Onions. Turn it round. It is a box of onions. There is a reason for that, because once in teens this year I made Ivan peel onions with his hands. So there we go. You sit down and give them a round of applause. Actually. Let me see. Do you want the option of switching? Ivan, do you want to keep your onions, or would you like a selection box? Selection box. Stuart, would you like to keep Nathan's smelly socks that he's worn all week, or would you like some celebrations?
Wow.
There we go. Give him a round of applause. Well done. Well done. So some of those presents made the people go, wow, that was the bubble tea. Thank you, Becky, for the suggestion about the bubble tea. But some of those presents were a bit disappointing, weren't they? And it's the same for us. Sometimes Christmas disappoints us. It's not all that we want or hope that it will be. And perhaps maybe on Christmas Day you've been ill. I've been sick on Christmas Day in bed, and it's so heartbreaking when you've spent all the time preparing. Maybe there's been last-minute change of plans. I remember that Christmas when the Prime Minister decided to change all of our Christmas plans last minute. Or maybe the oven breaks, or someone's car breaks down, or perhaps we don't get the presents that we wanted. You really wanted something, you open it and you're like, what? Or perhaps Christmas disappoints because our loved ones are no longer with us, and the excitement isn't the same without them. And it can feel hard then to feel the wonder when Christmas doesn't go to plan. But this morning, I want to take us back to the Christmas story, to the account of that first Christmas and the birth of Jesus, because this story is filled with wonder. And it's a wonder that will never disappoint. It's a wonder that will never let us down. And it's a wonder that will last, and it won't fade when we put the Christmas decorations away. But there is a danger that because we hear this story year after year, and we did the quiz, and you all know your stuff very well, there's a danger that this story can kind of lose its wonder. It can be like a bit same old, a bit irrelevant. And instead of wow, it can become like, oh, so what? And perhaps this morning, if you were really pushed, you know that you've lost the wonder a little bit. Well, in the next few minutes, I want to take you all back to the wonders that we see in the account of that first Christmas, which we heard told for us this morning. and what these means today so that we don't miss the wonder of Jesus this Christmas. We've got 5 wonders. Firstly, we've got the wonder of the promise. The birth of Jesus, the Son of God, it wasn't an accident. It was something that the people of Israel had been waiting for hundreds of years. And they had been promised a Messiah, a coming king who was going to bring the people of Israel and the whole world back into relationship with God. And this birth, this arrival, was promised hundreds of times in the Old Testament. And one of the most well-known promises that we see is in Isaiah 9, which promises that a light will dawn. A child will be born, a son will be given, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. And there are promises about what he will do, there are promises about what will happen to him, but also super specific promises that he'll be born in Bethlehem and live in Nazareth. And that all of these promises were fulfilled. I think that's just wow. Really wow. Hundreds of years earlier, his birth was promised, and he came just as it was written and promised. So that's our first wonder. The second wonder is the wonder of the pregnancies. And I'm talking here about both Mary, Jesus' mother, but also Mary's cousin, Elizabeth. Mary didn't conceive a baby in the normal way. Matthew 1:18 and Matthew 1:20 tells us that a baby was conceived by the Holy Spirit. I mean, that is wow in itself. It's never happened before, and it'll never happen again. But it wasn't just Mary's pregnancy that was full of wonder. Mary's cousin, she had a cousin who was really old. Think of like your granny, that sort of age. And she also had an awe-filled pregnancy, which we can read about in Luke chapter 1. Elizabeth hadn't been able to have a baby her entire life, but then you can read about the wonder of Elizabeth and Zechariah finally having this baby. And this baby turned out to be a special baby who would himself announce the coming of Jesus when he was a grown man. So, not a normal story at all. These pregnancies were wonderful. So there are our first 2 wonders. The third one, and I read this in the Christmas story, and I'm just blown away by the power that we see. This story is rammed full of power. I mean, just imagine how loud and bright the night sky would have appeared, filled with what Luke 2:13 tells us is a great company of angels. The word for company is like an army. So it's like an army of angels singing their praises to God in the sky. And what I love is that this scene literally brings to life the promise that we see in Isaiah. The promise that a light will dawn, that the coming of Jesus will turn darkness to light. And then we have the shining brilliance of those angels literally making it happen. And we also see power with that star in the sky. Astrologers and scientists have tried to prove that it was a comet or a natural phenomenon or something like that, but they haven't been able to prove it. And what is described in Matthew 2:2 is a miraculous sign in the sky from the Lord. Again, God's showing his power. In Genesis 1, we're told that God made the sun, the moon, and the stars. So, of course, he can do it again. Of course, he can create a new star. So, power, the wonder of the power. So, 3 wonders so far. We've got the wonder, the promise, the wonder of the pregnancies, and the wonder of the power. A couple more. We're going to think about the wonder of the plan. The birth story of Jesus wasn't plan B. It wasn't an accident that he was born in Bethlehem. It wasn't an accident that the shepherds were the first to visit him, that wise men brought him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. They weren't strange. It was all part of the plan to bring you and me back into relationship with God. In our humanness, we all mess up. We're all human. We all mess up. And as humanity back in the Garden of Eden, our mess separated us from God. But the plan that was always that Jesus would leave heaven to come to earth, to live as a human, to die on the cross on Good Friday, to take all of the punishment that we should have faced because of our mess, so that our relationship with God could be restored. The plan was to make everything right. And the plan began with his birth, and we're reminded of the wonder of the plan as we celebrate Christmas. And finally, we have the wonder of his peace. If everything feels too crazy for you in this Christmas season, if you feel overwhelmed by worry and anxiety, if you're fighting battles right now, the birth of Jesus brings the wonder of his peace. In Isaiah 9, we read that the increase of his peace, there will be no end. And the angels announce peace on earth to all humanity. At the heart of this story is the wonder of the peace of Jesus, peace that goes beyond anything that we can understand. Don't miss this wonder this Christmas. So how do we find the wonder again this Christmas? How do we make sure we're not just giving our wonder to the presents and the food and the parties, that we're focusing in awe and amazement and excitement on Jesus and his coming to earth and all that this means for us? I think we can learn from Jesus' mother, Mary. In the Gospel of Luke, we read a really detailed account of the birth of Jesus. There's a lot going on, as we've seen already this morning. In the story, there's a lot that Mary has to deal with. But then in Luke 2:19, we read this beautiful, simple verse. After all of these crazy things, the shepherds and the angels and the animals and the noise, it says this: Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. And what really strikes me is that the contrast of all the noise and the activity, everything that's going on around, the excitement, the shepherds, the people coming and going, the smells, the noises, Mary quietly takes all of this in. The word here for treasured carries the meaning of observing, of preserving, of keeping safe. And Mary chose to take a moment to keep this memory safe, to pause in personal reflection in the middle of this historically monumental moment. She stopped. She remembered. She reflected on the real meaning of all the craziness, of all the activity, and she thought about what she saw God doing. She chose not to miss the wonder. And I can just imagine her, Jesus being well fed, being changed, finally asleep in the manger, and her just going, wow, that was quite a day. And so this Christmas we can learn from Mary. We can choose not to miss the wonder. We can choose not to give our wonder to the presents and the food and the sparkly lights. We can choose not to get completely distracted by the noise and the craziness. Instead, we can give our wonder to Jesus. Like Mary did, we can treasure up all we see and know about him. And I wonder, what might this look like for you in your family? Or as an individual, how can you spend time this Christmas quietly thinking about all these things? Maybe there's a point on Christmas morning or on Christmas Eve before you go to bed that you can stop and pause and remember. I encourage you to take time to remember the wonder of the plan, particularly the wonder of the plan, how Jesus is making all things right. And if that bit particularly has struck you and you're new to church and you want to have a chat, come and chat to James, Matt, or to me, or if you're a leader, put your hand up. You come and chat to us at the end. And we're keen to tell you more about the plan, the wonderful plan. So we can remember the wonder of the promise, the wonder of the pregnancies, the wonder of the power, the wonder of his plan, and the wonder of the peace of that first Christmas. Amen. Amen.